Hey folks, it's Brian. Last week when I have a normally scheduled game, we were not able to get a quorum together, so we tried to play the next day on Friday. Still, we're not, or next day Saturday. Still not able to get enough players for a quorum. So we postulated about tonight, this Friday night. Now, two of our players are at a game convention in Pennsylvania, so we weren't sure what their schedule was going to be like, and two of our regular players were not going to be able to make it. So when it turns out that the two guys at the convention could actually play, we had a quorum, so we played. Um, Middle of a brew fight. Some weird stuff going on, some rule checking and that kind of stuff. A couple of comments about house rules. I put together um, a compilation of this is what the RQG book says. However, this is how I do it, kind of stuff. And in the process of the game tonight, I came across three, four more items that I don't think I covered in my house rules pamphlet that maybe I need to throw on there. But anyway, live plays in the description. Play with my Owlbear. Owlbear updated to the version 2.0, but for some reason it took my 1.0 game and brought it over to 2.0 instead of the 2.0 game I was already practicing with. So I had to rebuild the screen and icons and everything. And as I'm looking, I'm going, this doesn't. Thankfully I took a screenshot previously, so it would be similar, right, with the spacing and stuff like that. I'm going, this is not right. This 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 rock should be 3 hexes long, not 2 hexes, and there should be an extra space in between the group over here and the group on this side, and there isn't. They're all booked up against each other. But we managed to figure out. Okay, I gotta click on it twice so I get the border barriers on the map, and then drag it out and drag it out and drag it out until I got something that's close. And then we arrange everybody on there, and we kick off. We started off with a light description. Okay, what's going on with the brew and who's got what damage, who's been hit how, that kind of thing. And I had previously rolled, since one of the brew had gone down, there's another brew in the party um, who's, holy cow, how'd I bend my ring? Look at that. My goodness, what did I do? Anyway, I use the Pendragon Trace and Passions in order to keep me straight on how people act rather than trying to interpret runes and how people would act. So his valor was low, and so I rolled in between sessions, going, yeah, he's going to run as soon as he does. So he does a disengagement, he takes off, or no, he just split out run, allowed the PC Miriam, who's up fighting, who's engaged with him, to get a free attack, which I don't recall if she hit or not, but he's taken off. He's gone. Um, the brew with the poisoned horns. Continuing to fight with Juchi um, and Jarstakos. Got Juchi down, went negative. Um, I didn't apply the poison. He put him in the arm, which put him enough negative total hit points to go negative, so he went unconscious. They bring the healer around to heal him and bring him conscious. Well, okay, now the poison's going to have an effect. He goes down again. They do some more healing, bring him back up. Kept trying to get at Jarstakos, but was not able to hit him to do anything or get any poison on him. And all in all, he was the last brew down. They all ganged up on him. He got down on by his legs. He should have got a couple more headbutts in there, but I wasn't pushing at that point. And they chop him, chop, 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 chop. Well, before all that happens, that was at the end, right? I still have brew number one, the lieutenant, the captain. I think that's it, right? Well, the lieutenant, it turns out, is a little on the cowardly side too. So after that guy took off, and they've got one down. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, but there's no, it's 3 to 6. 1, 2. Yeah. Rolf Lieutenant, he decided, okay, yeah, it's not safe here. I'm going to take off as well. So he actually did a disengagement and then took off. Arrestra was going to follow him, but seeing that he was taken off, shifted around to attack the Brew Chieftain, who's been fighting with Daven back and forth the whole time. One of the Brew, um, the Thanatari, disengaged, came around and was doing some healing on the Chieftain, and would have got him up on his feet if Daven was able to continue to do damage to him. In fact, that's one of the rules here, because Daven's got armor negation on his rapier. And we've been talking like, a shield acts like armor, absorbs damage like armor, right? But the words they use for shields is hit points, and for weapons, hit points. So that's one of the things I have to clarify and discuss further with him. Go, okay, no, these things are hit points, not armor points. The negation does not bypass them. So if you're bypassing the shield and bypassing the armor, yeah, you can take limbs and stuff out. So, but they got him down to almost negative. But the Thanatari brought him up and brought him up again to heal his other leg. But then they start ganging up on him, and Arrestra was able to take him down from behind. That Brew's chaotic ability was that his spirit comes back as a ghost and attacks in spirit combat whoever killed him. So I put a little dead ring on him. I throw a ghost on him. Daven asks, at what point can I take off? Well, he goes down. He went down. Is he paying attention to the ghost at that point? I could have had him do a scan roll and said, hey, there's something still there. You may want to stick around. But he went and they finished beating up the other Brew. Well, that happens. The spirit engages in spirit combat with the restaurant. This thing has a huge power and a pretty significant charisma. So fighting spirit combat with Arrestra, Miriam grabs Arvana and says, give me the power matrix, and casts Spirit Screen. I think it is a spirit magic one. 5 on Arrestra. So Arestra's stopping 5 points of spirit, magic point damage every time she gets attacked. I think that's pretty good. And it is. That's pretty decent. But the spirit has a d6 plus 3 when it attacks. And it actually got a critical and a special during the entire series of combats that was going on. So it did like a point of damage, 3 points of physical damage to Arrestra. But then after 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 melee rounds, dropped her well below zero. The last one was a special, and it maxed out 18 magic points of damage. And she had 6 left, so she did negative 12. So she would have gone collapsed, but the spirit possesses. But Daven come down. He's got Blade Sharp 2 on it, so he's attacking, trying to do a couple of magic points of damage, every attack. But the spirit's able to defend with its spirit combat skill, and it's dodging. It dodged. He never did any, if I recall correctly. But towards the end, they decided to start throwing some disruptions at it, and there was a double strength, 2-point disruption coming at it, which hurt it. But it had it. It's got 20 power. Which is a whole lot more than that stupid ghost that he summoned. The ghost, he summoned a ghost. That's one of his rune spells, was to summon cult spirits, a ghost. And it had a 10 power and a 13 charisma. Really weak ghost. But it attacked Daven, but Miriam cast that distraction spell, so automatically went to attack her. And it held its own. I was really surprised. Until she finally overcame it. And then there's some discussion about, hey, because she's got a binding matrix, a 2-point binding matrix, so she could put it in the binding matrix. But she also has the fetch, and the fetch can hold a number of spirits whose total power is equal to or less than its power. Its power is like 11 or 12. 10-point spirit, it can hold the spirit itself, so it still leaves this matrix open for a stronger spirit. So we're kind of talking gaming above board, metagaming kind of stuff on because the shaman should know this kind of stuff anyway. So I had no problem with them. I was discussing because this is stuff that we've talked about before. So the shaman uses the fetch to hold on to the ghost. And then the chieftain gets killed. It comes back a raging spirit, attacks Arestra, takes Arestra over. At this point, we're getting close to midnight. I should have actually called it at this point. Um, can you tell if somebody's getting possessed? Can you tell that somebody's in spirit combat with a spirit? Can you tell these things? Maybe, I don't know. Obviously, if you've got second sight or something, you should be able to tell that. But a regular person, I don't know. So I might be a little tight on that. The fact that when Arrestor got possessed, that okay, statements of intent. Oh, what was it? Arestra, what's your struggling with your axe? Because she's got two of the party members engaged with her in the spirit, right? And okay, who can go before six? And so when the player's going, what do you mean? What can you tell? Does she look at me with a gleam in her eye? And go, okay, yeah, that's right. Statements of intent. Arrest returns. She's going to attack David. Okay, there we go. That clarifies for everybody that something is going on. Lessons learned. Um, but I should have stopped at that point. But we let it go for a couple rounds because there was a attack and shield. But then it got really late, and one of the players going, "Hey, guys, I'm out." Um, so we called it after a couple of rounds of after one round of Arestra attacking David. Um, Now I knew that the chieftain going down was going to be significant, but there was a point earlier on when the shaman was fighting with the ghost that the shaman and Arestra's player were talking like, okay, TPK, we're going down, we're going down, we're going down. Now it's true, I'm not looking at their sheets. I don't know how many magic points they have or have left, or that kind of thing. But they were obviously very, very concerned about issues. Perhaps I should be more aware or keep the party more aware of, okay, what's our total magic points here? What's going on? How many spells have you guys cast? Because it's been delayed. Change have some players covering for other characters, covering that kind of thing. If you're not keeping good notes on what spells have been cast, what inspirations have been done, people aren't going to remember. But that's it. But hey, next week is our regular scheduled game. Happy gaming.